Hey, do you know what time it is? That's right. It's time for Coach Lindy's podcast. The podcast to get you moving. Hi, I'm Lindy Hutchinson, a certified life mastery consultant with the Brave Thinking Institute. As a life coach, I help others transform their life as I have mine. It's not easy, but it is possible, and it most certainly is worth it. Each week, I'll share insights that inform, inspire, and ignite in you your desire to create a life that you love. So let's find out what's going on this week. Greetings. Welcome to the podcast. So this week, we're going to touch on something that may be pretty bittersweet. It's dealing with the Twin Towers. If you're familiar with history, or if you were alive and well, like myself, during 9/11, September 11th, 2001, which it's hard to believe is almost 25 years ago. But that's when there was an attack and two jets, in an act of international terrorism, slammed into the north and south towers of the trade centers in New York. The part that I'm hoping will be sweet is the story about the man that we're featuring this week as our profile in positivity, Philipe Petite. And he is still alive. He is 76 now. And he is a tight wire walker, a tight rope walker. In fact, if you happen to see in 2008 the documentary Man on Wire, or in 2015 the movie came out, The Walk, again about Philippe's walk between the North and South World Trade Center towers. So on that happy note about how a man who had a passion for walking a tightrope, and he did it, which ended up being very delightful. I watched the movie, and I, of course, had the privilege of visiting the Twin Towers many years ago. And it's terrifying, really terrifying. And I was inside the building. I was not outside the building, and I was not outside the building on a tightrope. So I will never understand Philippe's passion for tightrope walking, but apparently he had it very young. So about Philippe, and if you're watching the video, there's a picture of Philippe. And this information is from Wikipedia. Philippe was born in France, as you might guess by his name. At an early age, he discovered magic and juggling, and he always loved to climb. And at 16, he fell in love with the tightrope. He told a reporter that within 1 year, I taught myself to do all the things you could do on a wire. I learned the backward somersault, the front somersault, the unicycle, the bicycle, the chair on the wire, jumping through hoops. And I thought, what is the big deal here? These look almost ugly. So I started to discard those tricks and reinvent the art. So in 1971, for example, he took a cable, he installed a cable, because there wasn't a cable there, between the two towers of Notre Dame in Paris. And on the morning of the 26th of June, he went back and forth the wire, and he juggled balls, and the audience below was applauding him and cheering him on. So they thoroughly enjoyed that. It says that when he was 18, living in France, he read about the construction of the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers. And when he saw the drawings in 1968, he became obsessed. It says that he was sitting in a dentist's office, and he decided at 18 years old that he would one day, after, of course, the towers were constructed, he would walk between the two towers. And he ended up doing that when he was 25. So 9 years later, he actually did that. In between that time, he did another walk in Sydney, 1973, at the Harbor Bridge. So he was not shy in performing in some pretty amazing, spectacular ways. But his real passion, his coup de grace, was being able to walk between the Twin Towers. Now, it says that he had to learn how to accommodate the swaying of the buildings because of the wind, which is a part of their design, which, again, it terrifies me, just absolutely terrifies me. How to rig a 200-foot steel cable across the 138-foot gap between the two towers, which were at a height of 1,368 feet. I wouldn't have been even able to get on the roof. And also how to gain entry into, he was trespassing, and as it's shown in the movie, and if you read any of the stories, that they hadn't even really finished constructing the Twin Towers when he got up there. So it was illegal, and so they had to figure out how to rig this without being arrested. So it says that he traveled to New York on numerous occasions to make firsthand observations the towers while they were still under construction. He did have a New York-based photographer, Jim Moore, collaborate with them, and they practiced in a field in France where he was living. And he also, let's see, I think they said that he hired a helicopter. Oh, that was where Jim Moore came in, to take aerial photographs of the building. So there was a great deal of planning. They had to figure out how to gain entry into the towers. So they created fake IDs, and they were claiming that they were contractors who were installing an electrified fence on the roof. And they carefully observed what kind of clothes the construction workers and tools that the construction workers had, so they could even just get on the roof. So just getting access onto the roof was a big deal, not to mention actually what they were going to do. There are pages and pages of this. So on the morning of Tuesday, August 6, 1974, Petite and his crew, they got a lucky break, and they got a ride in the freight elevator to the 104th floor with their equipment. They stored it 19 steps below the roof. To pass the cable across the void, Petite and his crew decided to use a bow and arrow attached to a microfilament attached to a rope. They had practiced this many times. They first shot a fishing line, then they graduated to the 450-pound cable. So this was no small undertaking. He had already identified points where to anchor. Where to anchor the cable. Yeah, that would be kind of a big deal. So shortly after 8 a.m. local time on the 7th of August, Petite stepped out on the wire and began to perform. He was 1,350 feet in the air. No, thank you. No, thank you. So he made not one, not two, not three, not four, but 8 passes across the wire. He danced, he walked, he laid down on the wire. You see this in the movie. He knelt to salute watchers, and he said later that even though it was quite a distance, he could hear people talking and murmuring and cheers. The New York Police Department and the Port Authority Police Department, of course, learned that he was up there. They came up on the roof and they were trying to persuade him to come off. They even talked about plucking him off with a helicopter, which would have been horrible. But Petite had sense enough, especially since it began to rain, and he left the wire and surrendered to the police. So the good news was the district attorney dropped all formal charges of trespassing on the condition that he would give free aerial shows to children in Central Park. And he did that with all of his heart. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey gave him a lifetime pass to the Twin Towers observation deck. And he autographed a steel beam at the point where he began his walk. And of course, it was destroyed September 11th. It says that Petite's high wire walk is accredited with bringing the Twin Towers much needed attention and even affection, as they had initially become unpopular. If you ever see a documentary about the building of the World Trade Center, it was not well received and it had some real highs and lows. But Petite's high wire act actually helped promote this space for them. So you want to see, there's all kinds of books. There's 2 major documentaries. I think after this, I'm going to watch the 2015 movie, The Walk, about how he did this. And the thing that impresses me is not to encourage someone to break the law, but to realize what passion is. He saw in his mind at a very young age, he liked climbing. He had a passion for tightrope walking, and he was very good at it. And he became even better at it. It says that he also is a gifted equestrian. He's very good at juggling, fencing, carpentry, rock climbing, and bullfighting. Wow. So we want to live life. We want to live it to our fullest. We want to do everything that we can to have a rich and full life. That doesn't mean we have to break the law. Doesn't mean we have to climb on things. Though it does mean that search out what's in your heart. Search out what you want to do. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be who you were supposed to be. And if that's a good grandma, or a great sister or brother or a neighbor, that is wonderful. Whatever you do, do it with all of your heart and might and do it the best you can. Our power word for the week is lofty. We can honestly say that Philipe Petite had lofty ambitions. So, from our Hey That's Funny file, yes, I got another Phyllis Diller one. I guess I got onto an old site where they had all these collectible, regrettable sayings. Phyllis Diller says, you know you're old when your walker has an airbag. Thank you, Phyllis Diller. So my friend, have a great week and remember to keep creating a life that you love because you deserve it and live every day to the fullest and make your impact be positive and well known. So until I see you again, take care. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for joining me this week. I look forward to being with you every week. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, please email me at coachlindy@lindyhutchinson.com. My name is spelled L-Y-N-D-I, so it's Coach Lindy, L-Y-N-D-I, at Lindy Hutchinson, LYNDYHUTCHINSON.com. I value what your input is, and I'm always open for suggestions and ideas. If you will like and or subscribe to this podcast, that would be wonderful. I appreciate it. And I enjoy anything that you might want to send in, or if you would like some more information about coaching, send me an email and I will get back with you, and we'll talk about how you can create your best life. Have a good week. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.